Welcome to Burns White, Inside the Law. Hey, we are back inside the law, Burns White, Inside the Law, the podcast. Today we're talking to Courtney Yanosick.
Yeah.
Formerly Courtney Brennan.
Correct.
Courtney Yanosick now. She is one of our stars. Actually, she's one of our superstar associates at Burns White. You know, we have regular associates. Actually, we have not so good associates, regular associates, star associates, and superstar associates. And you are definitely in that category, superstar associates. So we're glad to have you.
Thank you. So I'm happy to be here.
And like I said, you were recently married, right?
Yes.
So I know you as Courtney Brennan.
Yes.
But you're Courtney Yanosick now, right?
Correct.
All right, great. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
other stuff that's happened to you recently we'll talk about. But before we do all that, let's get to know you a little bit. What I've been doing is talk about your background a little bit and your path to law school.
Sure.
And your path here to Burns White and how you like it here. And you're forced to say that you like it, by the way.
That's right.
This is not the complaint podcast. This is the praise podcast.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, so where did you grow up?
Pittsburgh, born and raised, Ahsan. I went to undergrad here outside of Pittsburgh and Duquesne for law school.
Duquesne Law School. Duquesne Law School, right? I think we should get Duquesne to give us some money here for
a little sponsorship.
Yeah. How many times have you mentioned on this podcast?
That's right. And I actually started my career here at Burns White.
I know that. And
I was fortunate to work my way through our summer law clerk program, and now I serve as a mentor for the current summer law clerk, so it's a nice full circle moment.
That's great. All right, let's go back a little bit, as far as growing up.
Sure.
You said you grew up in this area?
Yes.
Okay, where'd you go to high school?
Valley High School in New Kensington.
Okay. And then you went to Washington Jefferson College, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you decide that law school was the path for you?
I think it was always there throughout my life. My older brother is an attorney.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so I watched him compete in high school mock trial, and I was sitting in the courthouses in elementary school, sort of, taking it all in. I think I cared more about the outcome of his mock trial than some of his teammates.
Really?
But
you're a good little sister.
I try.
No, was he as invested in your mock trial efforts?
He was. Okay. He helped me out.
Good
he answered the
phone. Good for you guys.
He answered the phone.
Where did you go to law school?
He went to William & Mary.
Oh, you didn't go to Duquesne?
Yes.
I think William & Mary is the first law school in the country.
I think so.
Yeah, I know that.
Him and his wife, they both went there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that was always there. My mom really encouraged me to pursue law. I was an economics major in college.
Okay.
So I had a lot of great examples at my college of people that went on to law school. And I had a lot of really phenomenal mentors along the way. And so when I got to Duquesne, it was just sort of a natural process. I felt really supported, and transitioning to Burns White while in law school and working, you're sort of burning the candle at both ends, going to school and then coming here. But it made becoming an attorney after passing the bar so much more of a smooth transition. So
Burns White has been your only legal job, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you've been here since 2018, was it?
18.
18, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so about almost 8 years.
Yep.
All right. Well, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So let's just talk about that for a second, because of the fact that you came here from law school through the summer associate program. And I'm assuming that you were looking at Pittsburgh firms when you were in law school as a second-year associate, I guess, right? Is that when they do the OCI?
Right after your first year concludes, yes.
Yeah, can you just describe the on-campus interviewing process? So not everyone, I know we know it, but not everyone listening to it might know how that process works. For somebody who's in law school who's looking to interview and land a summer job. Yeah,
so after your first year concludes, most of the big law firms in the city put out their application process, and you go on campus or to the law firm itself to interview, and there's usually multiple rounds for each firm. Burns White, this was pre-COVID obviously, but Burns White used to do it where you'd go into conference rooms with 5 or 6 attorneys in each room. So, my second round of interview, I think I met 25 attorneys here at the firm.
Wow, really? Okay. Was it in this building?
This building,
okay,
yes. And, I just felt everyone here was so down to earth that I felt really at home. And, you go to some of the other interviews, you might speak to 1 or 2, individuals. And when I got the call with the offer, I accepted on the spot, and I canceled myself out of all my second round interviews with the other firms.
Do you remember some of the lawyers you interviewed with?
Yeah, they're still here. A lot of them.
Like Lyle, is it?
Lyle was certainly a part of it.
Joe Romano.
Joe Romano.
Yeah, all podcast stars.
That's right. That's right. And so it's been an incredible journey since then. But I knew from the start that this is where I wanted to build my career, and I was fortunate where I came in. I always tell students when I'm speaking to them, seek out great mentors. When you're interviewing, don't necessarily nail yourself into one area of the law. You don't know. There's so many different practice areas where you can build a career, but if you find great mentors, your love for that practice area will develop naturally. So that's what I always encourage people to seek, and that has served me well here at Burns White. I was fortunate to come in and work under the leaders of the firm. Our prior CEO, Mary Jo Rebello, was my boss, and she opened so many doors for me and just really expanded my horizons as a new attorney. And that leadership has just continued now under Tom Pohl and under Stuart O'Neill's leadership. The firm is just so supportive of young associates. That's not something that I think people can say for every firm. Here is a place where if you show the initiative, whether it's, you want to be the top trial attorney, or maybe, you want to work closely with clients, less in the courtroom, those doors will be opened for you. Leadership here isn't just willing to listen to you, Ahsan, as you know, they're eager to. And I think that's something that has just been sown throughout my career here. It's why I'm here. And
strong.
That's what we're building upon.
And so, there's a lot of things I want to ask you about, actually, because you just made my day with a lot of stuff you're saying. Let's step back for a second. So you came into Burns White as a summer associate. What was that summer like working here?
It's a great experience where you get to sort of work with everyone in the firm. We try to mold it so that it grows organically. We'll have projects from different practice areas sort of in the queue when you arrive for the summer. But, if I find that I'm jiving great with you, I really like the work, then I can continue to sort of knock on your door and get projects from that. But on the flip side,
who didn't you jive with? No, I'm just
kidding. That's where sort of I grew my interest in employment law.
Sure.
And it's something special because if you come back and you work throughout the school year and you join us after the bar, there's a lot of, as you know, the life cycle of any case, is 3-ish years.
And you worked with Mary Jo that summer a few times, right?
I did.
And she snaked you, I can tell you. I remember, I 100% remember that, where she was like, well, I'm taking this one.
I was the draft pick.
Yeah, she 100%. And she was the CEO at the time.
Yes.
I'm a big Mary Jo fan. I love her, I remember when you that summer, and then she was like, well, I know who I'm hiring. And she's a CEO, so she gets her pick, I guess.
Right. And now she's a client, which is incredible. But I owe everything to her tutelage, and she had me work on cases that right after I passed the bar exam went to trial. And instead of sort of being in the background, she was like, "You're coming along for this ride." And I was able to cross-examine witnesses in federal court in front of a jury just 3 months after passing the bar. So she believed in me. She supported me throughout that, and it's shaped how I practice. Once you've gone through to a jury trial, it completely reframes how you prepare for depositions.
Definitely, 100%.
How you prepare just at the very early stages of a case.
And you're so fortunate to have that experience early in your career.
Absolutely.
Because it does, it's interesting because with me, people will see me I don't want to say freak out, but freak out over certain things. And the reason why is I see how this mistake now can impact how things are going to happen later on when I'm in a courtroom and in front of a jury and I don't have the document that I need because whatever happened.
Right. And it teaches you to prepare for the unexpected.
Sure.
I mean, we've all been in scenarios where, you can prep a witness for a deposition and things still surprise you without question. So when you're going into trial, you're trying to help work with people in what's definitely, corporations they're used to litigation.
Yeah.
But a lot of our clients, this is a very tough time in their business, and it's incredibly stressful. So, we have a great practice group in the employment practice here.
Explain have you done employment since you started?
Since I started.
All right, explain to us a little bit as far as what your practice group is and what you do.
Sure. So, we have a tight-knit team here. Tom Pohl is our chair here in the Western District. And we work with employees and companies full-scale litigation services, but also on the consulting side. And that's something that I've really come to enjoy. We work very closely with the heads of companies, but also, directors of HR, office managers. We can act as sort of your outside in-house counsel. So we can get those pop-fly HR questions on the day and try to help,
You get some good questions?
We get some good questions.
Yeah, I won't ask you any specifics, but I imagine they can be pretty interesting. It's an interesting practice area.
It is. Every day is a new day, certainly. And when you're dealing with employee issues, you certainly, nothing surprises you.
Yeah, and you guys have Tom here on the west side of the state,
Cole,
and then you have Elizabeth Stefanski on the east side, right? Who was also on the podcast recently as well. Yeah, like
it's a great group, and I grew up. My grandfather owned a small business, and so
Dairy Queen, right?
It was he owned a Dairy Queen franchise.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
And so I grew up observing
awesome.
employees.
That is just like
I'll share the Blizzard list with you afterwards, but I grew up observing just daily employee-employer interactions and trying to help guide my grandfather once I was in law school, make sure this is documented. And that's sort of the same care that I try to string throughout, clients for us and give that same level of detail to them to help, like I said, get them through a very stressful time in their business.
Okay. And getting back to when you first started here, and you mentioned Mary Jo earlier and having her as a mentor early on, could you describe how that just made you feel more comfortable as far as your path here in Burns White?
Absolutely. I mean, Mary Jo, like I said, she brought me along for everything. She put me in front of clients from an early point in my career to help build that bond for me and the clients so that they were comfortable, dealing with me as well. But she opened so many doors and let me listen in on, client phone calls, the high stakes settlement conversations. You can't become a great attorney unless you learn from a great attorney.
Sure.
And so that's something that has stuck with me. And, I try to sort of pass that on to our incoming summer law clerks each year. Because that's not only you build loyalty, but when you have that close, almost familial relationship with the people you work with, you care so much more. There's a lot of stress involved in our jobs, as we know. But when you have that respect for the people you work with, you don't want anyone to fail. You'll never, let somebody down.
Right.
And so you work that much harder, and that translates to how our clients are served.
Well, good for you for recognizing that early on in your career. Yeah. And also, one thing that I've noticed about you and following you through the years is that you are not one to shy away from getting involved in things.
Absolutely.
Like you're a part of the Associates Committee.
Yes.
Are you part of the Summer Associates program as well?
Summer Associates program, the women's group, all the committees.
Every LinkedIn post has you. It was Courtney Brennan, but now it's Courtney Yanosick.
That's right.
So it's good. It's a good way to be at a law firm.
Absolutely. And that's what keeps people here and helps you grow something really special. And that's something that Stewart is supporting right now. Just from an associate level, how do we get people involved and help foster their career to build something special? Burns White, we have the big law resources here, but we operate with, a familial, touch, within the firm. And so, trying to develop young attorneys here is a priority. And if you're someone who has an idea, a podcast or, a new practice area that you'd like to start, all of those things are supported. And so,
as long as you air differently than my podcast.
That's right. We won't do the same one.
At different times,
yes.
I don't need the competition. It's probably way better if you have these younger kids doing it.
No, but we developed a training program most recently for the associates to go through a mock trial program.
Yes. I remember talking to you about that at the retreat.
Yes.
Whenever we had it a few years ago.
Yes.
And you mentioned that you did mock trial in high school, right?
I did.
I did. And you were hoping to bring that here, and it worked out pretty good.
It worked out, yes, incredibly. And that's something where, we gave associates a chance to not only, walk through a mock trial, but present it to all of the partners across the practice areas. So that it was essentially an opportunity to showcase yourself to partners that you might not otherwise interact with on your day-to-day. And I think, similarly, we were able to receive that feedback from our most seasoned trial attorneys here, where, so often we're all on the go. We're, trying to get those billable hours in.
Yeah, it's nice to set the time aside.
It was a great opportunity to just all sort of pause and really talk about, here's what I've run into in my trials and how I think I would, mentor younger associates differently based on those trials.
Right, yeah. So, like, a little bit more about your background.
Sure.
I know, because a lot of people at Burnsway have played different sports, but you're one of the tennis players, right?
I am.
Yeah,
yes.
and like, so tell us about like your tennis career, I guess.
Sure.
In high school. And
I grew up playing tennis. I played in high school, and then I went on to play in college. So I'll still tune in to the big ones on TV. I just watch the U.S.
I
Open.
won't ask you trivia questions about it.
That's right.
Mainly because I don't really know the new players now I don't know as well.
I know.
I'm like a Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi.
That's right.
When I
the
used
legends.
to watch. Yeah, that's what I used. Let's see. You say legends. I mean, I was like your age when they were when they were good. So it makes me feel old, but
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and I think being an athlete is sort of a natural. There's so many of us who are attorneys who played sports, and it teaches you that discipline, that work ethic that you have to have, and time management skills. My husband and I joke all the time. We both played sports in college, but you're burning the candle at both ends when you're in a sport. You're going to classes.
What did your husband play?
He played football.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Nice.
So he understands it completely. You're working work-study jobs in college, and that translates to being an attorney. And we all have that competitive drive in us,
definitely.
too.
Yeah. But what did you play in high school? What was
I played singles in high school. Yeah, number one singles, and then...
Wait, your first singles?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then in college, I played number one singles and number one doubles.
When did you play first singles? Like what year?
All 4 years.
All 4 years?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You had first singles all 4 years?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And what did you play in college?
I played number one singles all 4 years and
in
number
college
one
too?
doubles.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're really good.
You play both in college, which is incredibly fun.
Yeah. But I mean, to play first singles in college, you must have been like...
I worked hard, D3, so I'll be,
that's
add that asterisk in there. But
do you play pickleball at all?
I haven't made the full jump to that, but it's taking over the world.
Yeah, it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere, right?
Certainly.
It doesn't require as much, technical
movement,
skill,
yes.
as tennis does.
Exactly.
Let me add another personal question. I see you have one of these Stanley water bottles.
I do.
It's like, why is it that my daughter makes me buy her a new water bottle every year? And it's just like, and they're expensive. They're at least like, it drives me. It's just like, how much water do you drink in a day?
I know. I see, the memes online. It's like, we went to school and you went to a water fountain one time and, survived.
It's really amazing to me. Every associate that I see here has water bottles, the guys and the girls. It's just like,
gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's just like a sport. Being a lawyer is just like a sport.
I guess so, man. I saw you walk with a Stanley water bottle. I was just like, man, another one of these water bottle people.
I know.
Yeah. And another personal question.
Sure.
And you are just coming back from maternity leave, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I had a son 5 months ago, and as everyone knows, it's just life-changing and just the most incredible miracle to happen to you. It really shifts your perspective on everything.
Yeah.
But I'm really appreciative of all the support at the firm.
I was going to say, did you feel supported during the process?
Oh, beyond.
Okay, because if you didn't, then we would just delete that part out.
Right.
But I'm glad to hear that.
No, certainly. It's, like I said, this is my second family here. So going through, a lot of the big life moments and having everyone here care about you more as a person than they, do as an attorney. I mean, we're here to develop attorneys and work hard, but everyone here really cares about you.
Well, it's really nice. It's really nice to see you go through different life moments here, right? Because it's I remember when you were first hired. And and you were Courtney Brennan.
Yeah.
And you got married, and then I was like, "Who's this Yanosick person?" And then I realized it was you, and now you have a child. You're a mom, and it's nice to see. And then hopefully we'll see you keep going and and have more life moments with us.
Exactly, that's the goal.
Yeah, and it really does. It's really nice because there's a lot of attorneys here that are equity partners now and are in the leadership roles in the firm who have had these life moments,
right?
And they're doing pretty well managing everything.
It's pretty special.
Yeah, and you're in that. I guess you have a lot of people to kind of get guidance from.
Absolutely.
Not me.
Yeah.
Other people.
You can pick up the phone anytime.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I mean, I'd be happy to help when I can, but there's probably much more qualified people to guide you. You know, yeah. Okay. What else I want to talk to you about? We covered the tennis.
Yes.
We covered how much you love Burns White.
That's right.
You know, and what are you doing nowadays? What kind of stuff are you doing with the firm now? What committees are you in and stuff like that?
So, we're, like I said, we're part of the Associates Committee, always looking to, expand opportunities across all of our offices. We're far-reaching now, and we continue to grow into other states. So our Associates Committee is an opportunity to just sort of check in with each other across the offices, see what initiatives we can bring forward, how we can make associate life even better here. And, that's something that's important because, if everyone speaks up, they can chart their own path here. And that's something that I'm a big proponent about. I think post-COVID, there's a lot of young attorneys who they feel that, urge to jump, when something gets hard or when challenged. And, this is
it's industry-wide, I think.
It is. It is. It goes
across all industries,
Across all industries, absolutely. And, I've always advocated that, if you are feeling something, you go seek out the guidance of a partner here. They're going to sit down and figure out how to, serve you, how to, expand your horizon as a practicing attorney. And grow with you, and that's why I'm still here, and I hope to be that person for the younger attorneys.
You're
coming
definitely
in.
Doing that path. You're on that path.
Exactly. So there's if you speak up, people will help open doors for you here, and that's something that's really important. And you're not just pigeonholed into like that glorified research brief role as an associate here. That I think is an important part of our practice. But that's not all we do here. And you can have a lot of really great experiences client interfacing from a young age here. Yeah. Which is important. And that's not what you get at every firm.
Definitely not. What were some of the questions they asked you when you first interviewed here?
Wow. We had, I think each room had a different theme. There was a lot of sort of the hot button, like what would your walkout song be?
What?
They wanted
your walkout song?
Yeah, if you're coming out, like in baseball.
Yeah, really?
So it was a fun sort of icebreaker. Sure. Stressful, of course. It's a job interview. Yeah. But you got to know people right out of the gate. I think I talked about tennis for half of my interview, but just ways to connect. We all know that if you're interviewing here, you've worked hard in law school, right? You can research, you can write. Yeah. But we're always looking to hire great people. Yeah. And you have to be able to connect across, the normal things of life that bond us. Yeah. And so that's what we continue to do that. We want great quality attorneys here, but we want great people because we spend so many hours here, almost more than you get to be with your family sometimes. And so you want to have that bond, that relationship with each other.
Okay. Well, let me close by asking you an interview type of question.
Sure.
Looking forward, your next 5 to 10 years at Burns White, what do you hope to accomplish, and what do you hope to have happen for you while you're here?
Yeah. Well, I am so grateful for all of the people who have supported me up until this point, continue to sort of give me those opportunities. Definitely, moving towards the partnership track is in the.
You're well on your way. You are well on your way. I can tell you
That's certainly a goal in the short term, but continuing to grow. I'd love to have more trial experience. That's so rare in today's world. We all know that, but when you get those opportunities and the right circumstances, that's something I'm passionate about. I love to work and do the trial prep. But just continuing to grow relationships with clients and, let them know that, we're here ready to answer the phone, answer that email, and just continue to grow here.
Well, I've enjoyed watching you grow this far, and I'm enjoying watching your progress moving forward.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for spending time with us.
It's great to be here.
Right, thanks,
Thank you.
Okay. The information contained in this podcast is considered an outline intended to be supplemented by an attorney. The information is not legal advice and should not be considered as such. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions or comments regarding this episode, feel free to email us at podcast@burnswhite.com.